And this is that they are trying to see origin of matter. They think their thinking is matter is result of ki. Ki is energy, vibrations. So like Einstein, matter change into energy, energy change into matters. Those things, for them, that was common sense for thousands of years. It's not needed to particularly say those things. This is common sense.
What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you're holding the most sophisticated quantum technology ever created, and you've been trained to ignore it? Not a device you bought, not something you downloaded. Your hands. Those appendages you use to scroll, to type, to eat, they're not just tools for manipulating objects. They're broadcasting stations. They're quantum transducers. They're literal control interfaces between your consciousness and the fabric of reality itself. And Dr. Michio Kushi, that brilliant Japanese scientist who understood energy like nobody else, he proved it. He mapped it. He taught people how to use it. And then his research got very quietly pushed to the margins. Why? Because once you understand that your hands are energetic command centers, once you grasp that every gesture you make is programming the quantum field, you become too dangerous to control. And I know how that sounds. I know your rational mind is already objecting. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't mysticism. This is neuroscience meeting quantum physics, meeting 5,000-year-old wisdom traditions that already mapped what your hands can do. Your hands contain more neural connections to your brain than any other part of your body except your face. Your palms generate measurable electromagnetic fields. Your fingers connect to energy pathways that interface with every organ system in your body. And when you learn to consciously activate these systems, when you understand that your hands are literally designed to shape reality, everything changes. Now, before we dive deeper, I need you to ask yourself something. Why did you click on this video? Because I promise you it wasn't random. Something in you is ready to remember. Something in you knows that you've been living with the manual on your body locked away. You've tried the visualizations. You've done the affirmations. You've read about manifestation and attraction and all of it. And maybe some of it worked for a little while. But then you slipped back. The same patterns, the same limitations, the same reality that keeps proving you're stuck. And here's what I want you to know. You weren't doing it wrong. You were just missing the actual interface. You were trying to broadcast intentions through your mind alone, when your hands, your physical hands, are the transmission devices. Your mind generates the signal, but your hands encode it, amplify it, and project it into the quantum field where probabilities collapse into experiences. Dr. Michio Kushi spent decades building the bridge between Eastern energy medicine and Western neuroscience. He understood something that modern medicine still refuses to teach. Your hands aren't just biomechanical tools. They're quantum transducers, converting conscious intention into electromagnetic information that literally reorganizes matter and probability. And the quality of that information, coherent or scattered, focused or random, intentional or unconscious, determines which version of reality crystallizes around you. Now let me be very clear about what we're covering here, because I don't want to waste your time. If you're looking for magic spells or overnight miracles, this isn't it. But if you're ready to understand the neuroscience of why your hands have more cortical representation in your brain than your entire torso, if you want to know why every ancient tradition from mudras to Reiki to laying on of hands understood that your palms are power centers, if you're done being unconscious of the most sophisticated reality interface, technology you've ever possessed, then stay with me. Because what you're about to learn has been hidden in plain sight. Not because it's false, because it's devastatingly true. Because once ordinary people understand their hands are control interfaces, they stop being predictable, they stop being manageable, they stop waiting for someone else to change their reality. And that's exactly why Kushi's specific research on hand-based quantum coherence got buried. So let me take you back. Late 1970s, Boston. There's this quiet Japanese scientist teaching at universities, running experiments that are making certain institutions very uncomfortable. He's not just mapping energy meridians. He's showing that the 6 major meridian channels terminating in your hands can be consciously activated to influence your bioelectric field. And more than that, he's demonstrating with actual instrumentation that when people learn specific hand positions, what the yogis called mudras, their electromagnetic output changes, measurably, dramatically. He's got people in his lab placing their hands in specific configurations, and he's watching their brainwave patterns shift in real time. Alpha waves increase, theta states deepen. But here's what made everyone nervous. He's showing that these hand positions don't just change the person's internal state, they change the electromagnetic field around them. He's measuring changes in the local quantum vacuum. He's documenting field effects that extend beyond the body. He's proving that your hands are broadcasting specific frequencies into the space around you, and those frequencies are organizing probability. Students are coming to his lectures, hundreds of them, learning these hand-based practices, specific configurations, specific breathing patterns coordinated with hand movements, specific ways of directing energy through the palms, and they're reporting changes that shouldn't be possible. People placing their hands on areas of pain and watching inflammation reduce. People using specific mudras during negotiations and experiencing impossible breakthroughs. People learning to broadcast coherence through their palms, and suddenly their relationships transform, their businesses shift, their health improves. And Kushi is documenting all of it. He's collecting data. He's working with medical doctors, neuroscientists, physicists, people who understand research methodology, people who can't be dismissed. And then the pressure starts. His funding gets questioned. His university affiliations become complicated. And one day, federal observers show up. Not to arrest him, nothing that obvious, just to ask questions, to audit, to make it very clear that certain research directions are discouraged. Now, I'm not spinning conspiracy theories. I'm looking at patterns, and the pattern is this. Throughout history, when paradigm-shifting knowledge threatens to decentralize power, institutional resistance appears. Galileo's astronomy threatened the Church's monopoly on cosmology. They silenced him. Tesla's free energy research threatened profit models. His work got buried. Wilhelm Reich's organ research threatened pharmaceutical paradigms. They literally burned his books and imprisoned him. And Kushi, he threatened something even more fundamental. The belief that you need external tools, external authorities, external interventions to effect change, that you need a device, a drug, a specialist. He was proving that the most sophisticated quantum technology ever created is built into your body, that your hands are more powerful than any device you could buy, that you're not powerless, you've just been unconscious of your own interface. But here's what they couldn't erase: the techniques, the understanding, the actual mechanisms of how your hands interface with the quantum field. Because once you experience the tingling in your palms as you generate coherence, once you feel the heat building as you focus intention through your hands, once you witness synchronicities clustering around your deliberate hand-based practices, that's not belief anymore. That's lived experience. So what did he actually discover? Let me break this down in a way that's going to make complete sense. Even if you've never studied neuroscience or energy medicine, your brain has a homunculus, a map of your body represented in your motor cortex. And here's what's wild. Your hands take up a disproportionate amount of that map. If you were actually built according to how much brain space is dedicated to each body part, your hands would be massive. Each of your fingers has its own dedicated neural territory in your brain. Your palms have more sensory receptors per square inch than almost anywhere else on your body except your lips. Why? Because your hands are your primary interface with reality. Everything you create through your hands. Everything you manipulate through your hands. Your brain evolved with a massive, sophisticated representation of your hands because your hands are how consciousness translates intention into physical action. But here's where it gets profound, and this is what Kushi discovered. It's not just mechanical. It's electromagnetic. It's quantum. Your hands generate measurable electromagnetic fields. Every nerve impulse in your body creates electrical current, and electrical current creates magnetic fields. When you focus your attention on your hands, when you bring conscious awareness to your palms, you're increasing blood flow, increasing electrical activity, increasing the strength of the electromagnetic field emanating from your hands. This isn't metaphorical. This is measurable with standard equipment. Sensitive magnetometers can detect the field generated by your hands from several inches away. And that field isn't passive, it's informational. It's carrying patterns, frequencies, signatures of your internal state. Now, ancient traditions already knew this. They mapped it thousands of years ago. In Chinese medicine, 6 of the 12 major meridian channels either begin or end in your hands. The heart meridian terminates at your pinky finger. The lung meridian ends at your thumb. The pericardium channel runs to your middle finger. These aren't metaphors. These are electromagnetic pathways carrying bioelectric signals throughout your body. In yogic tradition, they identified specific hand positions called mudras, literally meaning seal or gesture, that create distinct energetic effects. Each finger is associated with a different element, a different quality of energy, a different aspect of consciousness. When you place your fingers in specific configurations, you're not just making shapes, you're creating circuits, you're directing energy flow, you're programming your nervous system. The thumb connects to fire element, to will, to transformation. The index finger connects to air element, to knowledge, to expansion. The middle finger connects to space element, to consciousness itself, to infinite potential. The ring finger connects to earth element, to stability, to manifestation. The pinky connects to water element, to communication, to flow. And when you touch these fingers together in specific combinations, when you create mudras, you're completing electromagnetic circuits. You're changing how energy flows through your nervous system. You're shifting which brainwave states activate. You're reprogramming your bioelectric field. Dr. Kushi was fascinated by this because Western neuroscience was just beginning to understand what these ancient traditions had always known. He started running EEG studies on people practicing different mudras, and what he found was remarkable. Different hand positions create different brainwave signatures, consistently, measurably. When you touch your thumb and index finger together, what's called Gyan Mudra, or the knowledge seal, your prefrontal cortex activates. Alpha waves increase. You're literally stimulating the brain regions associated with learning, memory, and higher cognition through a hand position. When you touch your thumb and ring finger, Prithvi Mudra, the earth seal, your brain waves shift toward deeper, more grounded states. Anxiety decreases. Your nervous system literally interprets that hand position as a signal for stability, for safety, for groundedness. This isn't placebo. This is neuroscience. Your brain and your hands are in constant bidirectional communication. And when you consciously use your hands to send specific signals, your brain responds. Your nervous system reorganizes. Your electromagnetic field shifts. But here's where it gets even more profound. And this is where quantum physics enters the picture. Because Kushi didn't just show that hand positions change your internal state, he showed that they change the field around you. And when your field changes, reality responds. In quantum mechanics, there's this concept called non-locality. It's been proven beyond doubt. Particles that have interacted remain connected, able to influence each other instantaneously across any distance. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. but it's real. It's been replicated thousands of times. Particles are entangled with each other through invisible connections in the quantum field. And here's what Kushi understood. Your hands are entangled with everything they have ever touched, everything they have ever created, everything they have ever interacted with. Not mechanically, energetically. Through the quantum field. When you place your hands in a specific configuration with conscious intention, you're not just changing your own bioelectric field, you're sending information into the quantum field. And that information propagates. It influences other fields. It affects probability distributions. It organizes matter and events in ways that align with the coherence you're broadcasting. This is why healing touch works. Not because of some vague energy, because of measurable electromagnetic field effects combined with quantum entanglement. When a Reiki practitioner places their hands on someone with coherent intention, their electromagnetic field literally entrains the other person's field. Heart rhythms synchronize, brain waves align. The practitioner's coherent field creates order in the client's chaotic field, and when fields organize, biology responds. Inflammation decreases, pain reduces, healing accelerates. This has been studied. The HeartMath Institute has shown that when one person touches another with coherent heart rhythm, their heart rhythms synchronize within seconds. Their electromagnetic fields literally couple. Information transfers through touch. Not just mechanical information, energetic, electromagnetic, quantum information. And it goes both ways. When you shake hands with someone, you're not just exchanging germs, you're exchanging electromagnetic information. Your fields interact. Your nervous systems communicate. On a level below conscious awareness, your body is reading their energy state, and they're reading yours. And whoever has the more coherent field has more influence. Think about people you've met who have powerful handshakes. Not just strong, there's something else. You feel it. That's not psychology. That's their coherent field entraining yours. That's electromagnetic field effects, creating resonance. Dr. Kushi taught specific practices to make your hands into conscious broadcasting stations. Not for manipulation, for coherence. For becoming the kind of presence that naturally organizes chaos into order, fear into peace, disease into health. And this is where the quantum observer effect becomes crucial. Remember the double-slit experiment? Particles exist as waves of probability until they're observed. The act of measurement collapses the wave function. The observer participates in creating reality. Well, here's what Kushi proved that made institutions nervous. Your hands, when used with conscious intention, act as quantum observation devices. When you place your hands on something, your own body, another person, even an object you're creating, and you hold a clear intention, you're collapsing probability waves. You're selecting which potential outcome crystallizes into reality. This isn't magic. This is quantum mechanics applied to macroscopic reality. Your hands, combined with conscious attention, create what physicists call a measurement event. And measurement events collapse superposition. They select outcomes. Let me make this concrete. You're creating something, a meal, a document, a piece of art. Most people do this unconsciously, hands just going through mechanical motions. But when you bring conscious awareness to your hands, when you feel the energy flowing through your palms, when you hold an intention for what you're creating, excellence, nourishment, beauty, healing, you're not just physically manipulating matter, you're energetically informing it. You're programming the quantum field around what you're creating with coherent intention. And the result is different, measurably different. Not because you're trying harder mechanically, but because you're adding an energetic dimension that most people never access. Kushi ran experiments with this. He had people prepare food, same ingredients, same recipe. One group just followed the steps. The other group was taught to activate their hands first. to feel energy in their palms, to hold intentions of nourishment and vitality as they prepared the food. Then they tested the food, not taste, actual cellular response, and the food prepared with conscious hand activation had measurably different effects on cellular metabolism. Same ingredients, different outcome, because information was encoded through conscious hand activation. This is why Grandma's cooking tastes better. Not just nostalgia, actual energetic encoding. She was putting love into the food. And love isn't just an emotion, it's a coherent electromagnetic state that gets transferred through the hands into what you're creating. This applies to everything you touch, everything you create, everything you interact with. Your hands are always broadcasting. The question is, are you broadcasting consciously or unconsciously? Coherently or chaotically? With intention or on autopilot? Now let me take you deeper into the mechanism, because this is where it gets practical. Your hands have specific energy centers that correspond to major organ systems and energetic functions in your body. The center of each palm, what's called the Laogong point in acupuncture, what Reiki practitioners call the palm chakra, is one of the most powerful energetic transmission points on your body. When you focus your attention here, when you breathe into this point, when you activate it consciously, you're opening a direct channel between your heart center and your hands. And here's what's significant. Your heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, 100 times stronger than your brain's field. And the heart meridian, the pericardium meridian, these channels run directly from your heart, down your arms to your hands. When you activate your palm centers, you're literally creating a pathway for your heart's electromagnetic field to broadcast through your hands. This is why placing your hand on your heart, when you make a commitment or a promise, feels significant. You're not just making a gesture, you're creating an energetic circuit. You're connecting your heart center to your hands, making the commitment electromagnetic, not just mental. Kushi taught a specific practice for activating the palm centers, and I'm going to give it to you right now, because this is foundational. Stop reading for a moment. Actually do this. Bring your hands in front of you, palms facing each other about 6 inches apart. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in through your nose. As you exhale, imagine energy flowing from your heart, down your arms, and pooling in your palms. Don't force it. Just gently direct your attention there. After a few breaths, you might start to feel something. Maybe warmth, maybe tingling, maybe a subtle magnetic sensation, like your palms are gently pulling toward each other. That's not imagination. That's your electromagnetic field activating. You're increasing blood flow, increasing electrical activity, increasing the coherence of the field between your hands. Now, slowly move your hands closer together and further apart. Feel the subtle resistance, the energetic density between your palms. You're literally feeling your own electromagnetic field. This isn't mystical, this is biophysics. You've just activated your palm centers. And here's what's profound. Once you can feel this, once you know what your own field feels like, you can learn to direct it. You can learn to broadcast specific intentions through your hands. You can learn to use your hands as tools for organizing reality. Different hand positions create different effects, not arbitrary effects, specific, predictable effects based on how they circuit your nervous system. Anjali Mudra, prayer position, palms pressed together at your heart, creates balance between your left and right hemispheres. It synchronizes the electrical activity of your brain. It creates coherence between thinking and feeling. When you hold this position for even 30 seconds, your brain waves begin to entrain. Scattered mental activity settles. Emotional reactivity decreases. You become centered. This isn't faith. This is measurable neuroscience. Abhaya Mudra, right hand raised, palm facing forward, is what the Buddha used. It's called the gesture of fearlessness. And there's neuroscience here. When you raise your hand in this position, you're activating specific motor cortex regions that connect to areas of your brain involved in courage, assertion, boundary setting. Your nervous system interprets this hand position as a signal for strength, for protection, for standing in your power. Dhyana Mudra, hands resting in your lap, right hand on top of left, thumbs gently touching to form a circle, creates a closed energetic circuit. You're containing your field, not broadcasting outward. This position is for meditation, for going inward, for building internal coherence. When you hold this mudra, your energy doesn't dissipate. It builds, it intensifies. It creates internal coherence that eventually becomes so strong it naturally begins to influence your external reality. But here's where Western science and Eastern wisdom become completely indistinguishable. And this is what got Kushi into trouble. He started teaching people that they could use specific hand positions combined with focused intention to influence specific outcomes in their reality. He taught that if you wanted to manifest something, a relationship, an opportunity, a healing, you couldn't just visualize it mentally. You had to encode it through your hands. You had to use your hands as the transmission device between your consciousness and the quantum field. And he gave specific protocols. For abundance, a specific mudra combined with a specific visualization, held while feeling the electromagnetic activation in your palms. For healing, a different hand position combined with directed attention and emotional coherence. For protection, another configuration. For creativity, another. For communication, another. And people started testing these protocols, and they worked, consistently enough that it couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. People were using their hands as conscious reality interfaces, and reality was responding. And that's when the institutional pressure increased, because teaching people that they don't need external tools, external authorities, external interventions, that they have the most powerful quantum technology built into their own bodies. That's dangerous knowledge. That creates sovereign individuals. And sovereign individuals don't stay dependent. They don't stay controllable. They don't stay profitable. But here's what they couldn't suppress: the direct experience. Once you feel energy activate in your hands, once you place your hands in a specific configuration and feel your entire nervous system shift, once you use your hands to broadcast coherent intention and watch reality respond, that becomes your truth. Not a belief system, direct, lived experience. Let me share something personal. Years ago, I was in a lab, doesn't matter where, watching researchers study what they called directed intentionality. They had subjects place their hands over Petri dishes containing bacterial cultures. One group just held their hands there. The other group was taught to activate their palm centers first, to generate coherent heart rhythm, to hold a specific intention, in this case, inhibiting bacterial growth, and to feel that intention broadcasting through their palms. And I'm watching this skeptically, because I was trained in conventional biology. Bacteria grow according to their genetics, their environment, their nutrients. Intention shouldn't affect them. That would violate everything I learned. But then they showed me the results. The control group? Normal bacterial growth. The coherent intention group? Measurably reduced growth. Not huge differences, but statistically significant across multiple trials. And the researcher, she's just calmly explaining. When someone generates heart-brain coherence and broadcasts that coherence through their hands with clear intention, they're creating an organized electromagnetic field. And organized fields influence chaotic systems, like rapidly dividing bacteria toward greater organization. Sometimes that means growth. Sometimes that means inhibition. It depends on the intention held. And something in me just cracked open, because in that moment, I felt it. I had my hands over one of the cultures, and I could feel the subtle interaction between my field and whatever was happening in that dish. I understood viscerally that my hands aren't just mechanical tools, they're energetic interfaces. And the researcher smiled and said, "Now, you understand why Kushi's work was so dangerous. Because if people knew they could do this, if they understood their hands are quantum transducers, that they can influence cellular behavior, probability distributions, field effects, the entire paradigm of powerlessness collapses." Now, understanding this intellectually and embodying it in your nervous system, that's where Kushi's genius comes in. Because knowledge without practice is just entertainment. You can know all about quantum field effects and still live like you're powerless. You can understand energy meridians and still broadcast chaos through your hands unconsciously. The transformation happens when you install this understanding into your daily practice, into your automatic functioning, into the way you use your hands every single moment. And that's what his protocols were designed to do, to make you conscious of your hands as energetic interfaces, to train you to activate them deliberately, to teach you to broadcast coherently instead of chaotically. So let me give you a metaphor that makes this crystal clear. Imagine your hands are like wireless routers. They're always broadcasting. Always. Whether you're aware of it or not. But most people's routers are broadcasting random signals. Static, interference, chaos. No wonder their reality feels chaotic. They're flooding the field with incoherent information. But when you learn to create coherence, when you activate your hands consciously, when you hold specific configurations, when you combine hand activation with heart coherence and clear intention, your hands become like high-powered, focused transmitters. You're broadcasting clear, organized, powerful information into the quantum field. And the field responds to organized information. It begins structuring probability in alignment with your broadcast. This is resonance, this is entrainment, this is basic physics applied to consciousness and matter. Your coherent hand activation creates order, and order attracts more order. Coherence attracts coherence. Your organized broadcast begins organizing the events and circumstances around you. Dr. Kushi taught that you're not separate from your environment. You're in constant energetic exchange with everything around you through your hands. Every surface you touch, every object you hold, every person you shake hands with, you're exchanging electromagnetic information. And the person with the most coherent field has the most influence, not through domination, but through resonance. Think about healers throughout history. Shamans, medicine men, energy workers, Reiki masters. What's the common element? They use their hands, not randomly, consciously. They activate their hands first. They create coherence. They hold clear intention. And then they place their hands on the person or the situation, and their coherent field entrains the chaotic field. Order emerges from chaos. Healing happens. You have this same capacity. It's not a special gift. It's your biological inheritance. Your hands are designed for this. The question is, have you been trained to use them consciously? Most people use their hands entirely mechanically. They type, they scroll, they grab, they manipulate objects, all unconsciously. Their hands are just tools for mechanical action. But when you bring consciousness to your hands, when you activate them energetically, when you understand they're broadcasting quantum information, everything you touch becomes different. Everything you create carries your intention. Everything you interact with receives your coherent field. And here's where responsibility comes in. Because once you understand your hands are energetic interfaces, you can't pretend you're passive anymore. You can't say reality is just happening to you. You have to acknowledge that you're participating. Your hands are constantly broadcasting. The question is, what are they broadcasting? If you're anxious, your hands are broadcasting anxiety. If you're scattered, your hands are broadcasting scatter. If you're contracted in fear, your hands are broadcasting contraction. And everything you touch receives that information. Everything you create gets encoded with that state. Everyone you interact with feels that field. But the beautiful flip side, when you learn to create coherence first, when you activate your hands from a state of heart-centered presence, when you consciously choose what you're broadcasting, you become a force for coherence in your environment. You become someone whose very presence creates order, not through control, but through resonance. And that's exactly why this knowledge got suppressed, because people who understand they're powerful don't wait for permission. They don't stay dependent on systems that promise to fix them. They become sovereign. And sovereign individuals are unpredictable, unmeasurable, unmanageable. Let me tell you what happened in the late 70s and early 80s when Kushi's hand-based protocols were gaining traction. He had practitioners all over the world teaching these techniques. People were learning to activate their hands, to use specific mudras for specific intentions, to broadcast coherence through their palms, and they were reporting impossible outcomes. Healings that shouldn't happen, breakthroughs that defied probability, synchronicities clustering around their hand-based practices, and Kushi was documenting it. He was working with medical doctors, neuroscientists, biophysicists, building a body of evidence that consciousness, when transmitted through properly activated hands, has measurable effects on matter, on biology, on probability fields. And then the questioning started. Funding gets complicated. University positions become tenuous. Media coverage that was enthusiastic turns skeptical. Professional reputations get quietly undermined. Was there a coordinated conspiracy? Probably not, but there doesn't need to be. Paradigm-threatening research automatically triggers institutional immune responses. Funding committees get cautious. Peer reviewers suddenly find methodological flaws. The system protects itself, not through overt censorship, but through 1,000 small pressures that make the work unsustainable. This pattern repeats throughout history. Galileo, Tesla, Reich, Kushi. Anytime someone proves that ordinary people have more power than the system claims, power that would make them less dependent, less controllable, less profitable, institutional resistance appears. But here's what can't be erased. The actual practice, the lived experience, the techniques work whether institutions acknowledge them or not. Your hands are energetic interfaces, whether science admits it or not. The quantum field responds to coherent intention broadcast through your palms, whether anyone believes it or not. Truth doesn't need institutional validation. Truth just needs practice, and you're about to get the practices. So what exactly did Kushi discover about the hands that was so threatening? Let me break down the actual science in a way that's going to reorganize how you think about your own body. Your hands are electromagnetic generators, not metaphorically, literally. Every nerve impulse creates electrical current. Every electrical current creates a magnetic field. Your hands, with their dense neural innervation, their rich blood supply, their constant electrical activity, generate measurable electromagnetic fields. And these fields aren't passive, they're informational. The pattern of electrical firing in your hands, whether it's random or coherent, chaotic or organized, creates different electromagnetic signatures. And those signatures radiate outward, carrying information about your internal state. Now, here's where it gets precise. In acupuncture theory, there are 386 acupuncture points on your body. And 86 of those, nearly 1/4, are on your hands and wrists. Why? Because your hands are major energetic hubs. They're intersection points where multiple meridian channels converge. The Laogong point in the center of each palm, where your middle finger touches when you make a fist, is one of the most powerful energy points on your body. It's the exit point for the pericardium meridian, which governs your heart protector, your emotional regulation, your capacity to connect. When you activate this point, you're directly accessing your heart's electromagnetic field and broadcasting it outward. The Hegu point, located in the webbing between your thumb and index finger, is called the Great Eliminator. Stimulating this point has been shown in studies to release endorphins, reduce pain, regulate immune function, even induce labor in pregnant women. 1 point. Measurable, powerful effects. Dr. Kushi mapped how these points correspond to Western neuroscience. He showed that the acupuncture points on your hands align exactly with nerve bundles, blood vessel concentrations, and areas of high electromagnetic activity. The ancient maps weren't metaphorical. They were detecting something real that Western medicine is only now beginning to measure. And when you learn to consciously activate these points through specific hand positions, through focused attention, through directed breath, you're not doing something mystical. You're using neuroscience. You're stimulating specific nerve pathways that trigger specific responses in your brain, your endocrine system, your immune system. Different mudras activate different neural networks. This has been studied with EEG and fMRI. When you change your hand position, your brainwave patterns change. Your brain literally recognizes different hand configurations as different signals, and it responds accordingly. Gyan Mudra, thumb and index finger touching, activates your prefrontal cortex. Alpha waves increase. You're stimulating the neural networks involved in learning, concentration, wisdom. Ancient yogis called it the knowledge seal. Neuroscience shows it literally enhances cognitive function. Shuni Mudra, thumb and middle finger touching, creates a deeper, more meditative state. Theta waves increase. You're activating neural networks involved in patience, discipline, inner wisdom. The yogis called it the seal of patience. Brain scans show it calms the default mode network, reducing the constant mental chatter that keeps most people scattered. Surya Mudra, thumb and ring finger, generates heat, both literally and electromagnetically. Your metabolic rate increases slightly. You're activating your sympathetic nervous system in a controlled way, creating what Kushi called focused yang energy. This is the mudra for transformation, for burning through resistance, for manifesting in the material realm. Each finger, each position, each configuration creates a different circuit in your nervous system, activates different brain regions, broadcasts different electromagnetic signatures. But here's where it becomes quantum. Because Kushi showed that these hand-based activations don't just change your internal state, they change the field around you. And when your field changes, you begin affecting probability distributions in your local environment. The quantum field, what physicists call the zero-point field, what ancient traditions call chi or prana, is fundamentally responsive to organized information. Coherent fields influence chaotic systems toward greater organization. This is basic thermodynamics, applied to consciousness and matter. When you activate your hands consciously, when you create heart-brain coherence and broadcast that coherence through your palms, you're organizing the quantum field around you. You're creating an informational template. And matter and probability begin structuring themselves according to that template. This is why intention through the hands is more powerful than intention alone. Your mind generates intention. That's the information. But your hands encode that information into electromagnetic form and broadcast it into the field where quantum probabilities exist. Your hands make intention physical. They make consciousness measurable. They make the invisible visible. Now let's go deeper into the observer effect, because this is where your hands become control interfaces. In quantum mechanics, particles exist as waves of probability until measurement occurs. Observation collapses the wave function. The observer participates in creating reality. But here's what's usually missed. Observation isn't just looking. Observation is interaction. It's the exchange of information between the observer and the observed. And your hands, when used consciously, become observation devices. When you place your hands on your own body with healing intention, you're not just touching, you're observing. You're bringing conscious attention to that area. You're collapsing quantum probabilities in that tissue. You're selecting for healing, for regeneration, for optimal function. When you place your hands on something you're creating, a meal, a document, a work of art, with clear intention, you're observing that creation process. You're collapsing probabilities toward the outcome you're holding in consciousness. You're literally selecting which potential version of that creation manifests. Kushi ran experiments with this. He had people prepare identical solutions of water. One group just poured water. The other group activated their hands first, held clear intention, either loving, healing intention, or chaotic, negative intention, and then poured water while maintaining that state. Then they measured the water. Not taste, actual molecular structure. Using spectroscopy, crystallography, multiple methods. And the water was different, measurably different. The intentionally blessed water showed more organized molecular structure. The negatively intended water showed more chaotic structure. Same H2O, different organization. Because consciousness, transmitted through activated hands, reorganizes matter at the molecular level. This is why blessing food works. Not because you're invoking a deity, because you're organizing the quantum field around the food through coherent intention transmitted via your hands. You're encoding information, and your body, when it consumes that food, receives that information. Kushi taught that everything you touch receives your electromagnetic signature. Everything, every door handle, every steering wheel, every piece of food, every person. You're constantly leaving energetic imprints everywhere your hands go. Most people do this unconsciously, broadcasting whatever chaotic state they're in. But when you learn to activate your hands consciously, to broadcast coherence deliberately, you become someone whose every touch creates order, harmony, healing. This is mastery, not over others, over your own field. Not through force, through coherence, not someday, right now, through practice. Now, here's where most people get stuck, and this is crucial. They try to use their hands to manipulate outcomes while their heart is in fear or lack. And it doesn't work. Your hands are transmitters, but the signal they're transmitting comes from your heart. If your heart is contracted in fear while you're trying to broadcast abundance through your hands, you're just amplifying fear. The body doesn't lie. The field doesn't lie. You can't fake coherence. This is where Neville Goddard's mystical insight meets Kushi's biological science. Neville said, "Feeling is the secret." He said you must feel your desire as already accomplished, and he was right. But he didn't explain the mechanism. Kushi did. When you generate authentic feeling in your heart, let's say gratitude, your heart rhythm becomes coherent, smooth, ordered, sinusoidal. That coherent heart rhythm generates a coherent electromagnetic field. And that field travels down your arms, through the meridian channels to your hands. When you activate your hands from this coherent heart state, your hands become transmitters of that coherence. Now you're broadcasting with power. Now the quantum field receives a clear, organized signal. Now probability begins collapsing in alignment with your coherent state. But if you skip the heart piece, if you just try to use hand techniques while your heart is chaotic, you're broadcasting chaos with more power. You're amplifying the problem, not solving it. The order is crucial. First heart coherence, then hand activation, then clear intention. Heart generates the power. Hands encode and broadcast it. Intention directs it. This is the technology Kushi gave us. Not just hand positions, a complete system of conscious field management, using your hands as the primary interface. Let me give you the actual mechanism step by step so you can see how elegantly this works. Step 1. Generate heart coherence. You do this through slow breathing, 5 seconds in through your nose, 5 seconds out through your mouth. Your autonomic nervous system shifts from sympathetic stress mode into parasympathetic rest mode. Your heart rhythm becomes ordered. This takes about 2 minutes. Step 2. Activate your palm centers. Bring your attention to your hands. Feel them. Imagine breath flowing into your palms. After a minute or two, you'll feel warmth or tingling. That's increased blood flow and electromagnetic activation. Your palm centers are now online. Step 3. Create the energetic circuit. This depends on your intention. For building internal power, use a closed mudra like dhyana, hands in lap containing your field. For broadcasting outward, use an open mudra like abhaya, palms facing forward, projecting your field. For balance and centering, use anjali, palms together at heart, integrating your field. Step 4. Add specific intention. Don't just think it, feel it. Feel the outcome as already real. Let that feeling fill your chest and radiate through your arms into your hands. Your hands are now broadcasting that frequency into the quantum field. Step 5. Take aligned action. Don't just sit there visualizing. Use your hands to do something in alignment with your intention. Create something. Touch something. Gesture. Move. Your hands are interfaces between consciousness and matter. Use them. This isn't meditation alone. This isn't positive thinking. This is consciousness using the biological technology of your hands to organize the quantum field in alignment with your intention. This is practical. This is actionable. This is how you become a conscious creator instead of an unconscious reactor. Now, let me give you specific protocols. These are the actual practices Kushi taught, refined through decades of testing. Protocol 1. Morning hand activation. Before you do anything else in your morning, before phone, before coffee, before getting out of bed, you're going to activate your hands and set your electromagnetic signature for the day. Sit up. Bring your hands in front of your heart, palms facing each other about 6 inches apart. Close your eyes. Slow breath. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Focus on your heart center. Generate gratitude, appreciation, love, whatever coherent emotion you can authentically access. After 2 minutes, when you feel your heart settle into coherence, bring your attention to your palms. Imagine energy flowing from your heart, down your arms, and collecting in your hands. Breathe into your palms. Feel them activate, warmth, tingling, a subtle magnetic sensation between them. Now, slowly bring your palms together until they're about 1 inch apart. Feel the density between them. That's your electromagnetic field. That's your power. That's what you're going to be broadcasting all day. Hold this for 2 minutes. Don't think about your to-do list. Don't plan your day. Just feel your own field. Build it. Strengthen it. Make it coherent. Then, with your hands still activated, set a clear intention for your day. Not what you'll do, who you'll be, how you'll show up, what frequency you'll broadcast. Feel it. Make it visceral. Finally, place your right hand over your heart, left hand on top of it. Hold this for 30 seconds. You're sealing the practice. You're making a commitment to yourself to maintain this coherence as your baseline state. 5 to 7 minutes total. This practice alone will change your life if you do it daily for 30 days. Because you're training your nervous system to default to coherence. You're making conscious hand activation your new normal. Protocol 2, the quantum touch technique. This is for specific manifestation or healing work. You use this when you want to consciously influence a specific outcome. Find a quiet space. Sit comfortably. Generate heart coherence through breath. 5 minutes minimum. You cannot skip this step. Coherence is the foundation. Once coherent, activate your palm centers through breath and attention. Feel the energy building in your hands. Now bring to mind the specific outcome you desire. Don't just think about it. Step into it. What would it feel like in your body if this was already real? What would you see, hear, feel? Make it visceral. Let that feeling build in your chest. Once the feeling is strong, bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, palms pressed together at your heart. You're creating a closed circuit. You're containing the frequency. Let it build. Let it intensify. After 2 minutes, slowly separate your hands about 12 inches apart, palms facing each other. Imagine you're holding a sphere of light between your palms. This sphere contains the essence of what you're creating. See it. Feel it. It's electromagnetic reality. It's your coherent intention made tangible. Now, using Gyan Mudra, thumbs and index fingers touching, other fingers extended, hold your hands in front of your heart with palms facing forward. You're broadcasting, you're transmitting that coherent intention into the quantum field. Stay here for 3 to 5 minutes. Don't force it. Just maintain the feeling state and let your hands broadcast. You're collapsing probability. You're organizing the field. You're doing the work at the quantum level. When you feel complete, you'll know it's a subtle settling. Bring your hands back to Anjali Mudra. Thank yourself for this practice. Open your eyes. Go about your day knowing you've just programmed the quantum field with clear instructions. Protocol 3. Energy clearing. Hand scan. This is your maintenance practice. Use this anytime you feel energetically contaminated. After difficult interactions, after scrolling social media, after being in chaotic environments. Stand or sit. Activate your palm centers through breath and attention, 1 to 2 minutes. Once activated, raise your right hand and slowly pass it down the front of your body, about 6 inches away from your body surface, starting from the crown of your head down to your feet. You're scanning your own field. Notice where you feel density, stickiness, discomfort. That's energetic debris, other people's stuff, absorbed stress, environmental chaos. When you identify an area that feels off, stop. Hold your right hand over that area. With your left hand, make a sweeping motion away from your body, as if you're literally brushing something off. You're using your hands to manually clear the field. Do this several times until the area feels lighter. Once you've scanned and cleared your entire body, shake out your hands vigorously. You're releasing whatever you just cleared. Don't hold on to it. Finally, place both palms over your heart. Generate gratitude. Re-establish your coherent baseline. You've just used your hands to manually maintain your energetic hygiene. 2 to 3 minutes total. This practice prevents accumulation. Most people accumulate energetic debris all day and wonder why they feel drained. Your hands are your clearing tools. Use them. Protocol 4, the Creation Mudra. This is for when you're actually creating something with your hands, cooking, writing, building. Any physical creation. Before you start, take 1 minute to activate your hands and set your intention. What are you creating? For what purpose? How do you want this creation to affect whoever receives it? As you work, periodically pause and consciously feel your hands. Are they tense? Relaxed? Are you gripping or flowing? Your hands reflect your inner state. If your hands are tense, your creation carries tension. If your hands are flowing, your creation carries ease. Every few minutes, take a breath and reactivate your palm centers. Refresh the coherence. Refresh the intention. You're not just mechanically creating. You're energetically encoding every gesture, every touch, every movement with your intention. When you complete the creation, hold it between your hands for a moment. Generate the feeling of completion, of blessing, of love. Let that feeling transmit through your palms into what you've created. You're sealing it energetically. This practice transforms creation from mechanical action into quantum participation. You become someone whose creations carry power because they're electromagnetically encoded with coherent intention. Protocol 5. Conscious contact. This is for interactions with others. Use this before important conversations, meetings, or any time you want to show up coherently. Before the interaction, take 2 minutes to generate heart coherence and activate your hands. Feel your power. Feel your coherence. You're preparing your field. During the interaction, pay subtle attention to your hands. Are they open or closed? Gesturing or still? Your hands are broadcasting your actual state regardless of what words you're saying. If you want to be received as trustworthy, keep your palms visible and open. If you want to be received as powerful, make clear, definite gestures. If you want to create intimacy, offer appropriate touch, a handshake, a hand on a shoulder, from a coherent state. When you shake someone's hand, don't do it mechanically. Feel your palm center activate. Hold genuine presence. Look them in the eye. You're making energetic contact, not just physical contact. That's what they'll remember. Not what you said, but how your field felt. After the interaction, do a quick clearing scan. Did you pick up their stress, their anxiety? Clear it. Don't carry it. This practice makes you someone people want to be around because your coherent field creates safety, order, harmony in your presence. Not through manipulation, through resonance. These 5 protocols are your practical toolkit. They're not theoretical. They're not mystical. They're applied neuroscience and quantum physics using your hands as the interface. But here's the requirement: consistency. You cannot do these once and expect transformation. Your nervous system has momentum. You've been using your hands unconsciously for your entire life. You've wired neural patterns around unconscious hand use. Those patterns have inertia. To install new patterns, to make conscious hand activation your default, you need daily practice, 30 days minimum. 60 is better. 90, and you'll have created a new operating system. Dr. Kushi taught that transformation requires sustained coherence. You must maintain the new frequency longer than you maintained the old one for the shift to stabilize. If you've been unconscious of your hands for 30 years, you might need 3 months of daily practice before conscious activation becomes automatic. But once it does, once your nervous system learns to default to coherent hand activation, everything changes. You become someone whose very touch creates order, whose handshake transmits confidence, whose creations carry power, whose presence reorganizes chaos into harmony. This isn't special. This is your design. Your hands are quantum interfaces. The question is, have you learned to use them consciously? Now let me address something directly because I know some of you are thinking it. This sounds too simplistic. How can hand positions change reality? And that's the exact question I want you to be asking, because it forces you to examine your assumptions about what's real. You accept that pressing buttons on a keyboard creates words on a screen. Why? Because you understand the mechanism, electrical signals translating into digital information. What I'm teaching you is the same principle applied to consciousness and matter. Your hands are interfaces. Pressing them into specific configurations creates specific electrical patterns in your nervous system. Those patterns generate specific electromagnetic fields. Those fields carry information into the quantum field, where probability exists. And probability responds to coherent information by organizing toward order. It's not simplistic. It's elegant. Nature works through simple principles operating at multiple levels simultaneously. A seed doesn't think its way into becoming a tree. It unfolds through coherent information, encoded in its structure, responding to environmental signals. Your hands work the same way. They're encoded with the capacity to interface with reality. You just need to activate that capacity consciously. This isn't belief. This is testable. You can measure the electromagnetic fields generated by different hand positions. You can measure brainwave changes. You can measure heart rhythm coherence. You can measure field effects on nearby systems. The data exists. The mechanism is understood. The only question is, will you practice? Because knowledge without practice is just entertainment. You can understand everything I've shared and still live like you're powerless if you don't actually use your hands consciously. The transformation happens through embodiment, through daily practice, through making these techniques automatic in your nervous system. So here's what I want you to do right now. Put down your phone or pause this video. Bring your hands in front of your heart, palms facing each other. Take 3 slow breaths. Feel your palms. Notice any sensation, warmth, tingling, subtle pressure. That's your electromagnetic field. That's your power. That's what Dr. Kushi proved exists and can be consciously directed. You just felt it. That wasn't imagination. That was biophysics. You activated your palm centers through attention and breath. Now you know what it feels like. Now you can practice activating them deliberately throughout your day. That's the beginning. That's the seed. That's the first step into understanding your hands as quantum interfaces instead of just mechanical tools. Now, let me bring this full circle. Dr. Michio Kushi spent his life proving that your body isn't a solid, separate object moving through a fixed reality. You're a dynamic pattern of energy and information, constantly interfacing with the quantum field through your primary tools, your hands. And the reason this knowledge got buried isn't because it's false. It's because it's devastatingly true. Once you understand that your hands are broadcasting stations, that every touch carries your electromagnetic signature, that you can consciously use hand positions to organize your nervous system and influence probability fields, you become ungovernable. You stop waiting for permission. You stop needing external validation. You stop accepting limitations imposed by systems that profit from your powerlessness. You become sovereign. And sovereignty is the ultimate threat to any system built on dependence. But sovereignty isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering your own field. It's about taking responsibility for what you're broadcasting. It's about understanding that your hands are always transmitting. The only question is whether you're transmitting consciously or unconsciously, coherently or chaotically. Every door, handle you touch today receives your electromagnetic signature. Every person you shake hands with feels your field. Every object you create gets encoded with your state. You're constantly imprinting reality with your hands. The question is, what are you imprinting? Most people imprint chaos because they're unconscious. They live in survival mode, stress mode, scattered mode, and their hands broadcast that state everywhere they go. No wonder their reality feels chaotic. They're creating it through unconscious broadcasting. But you can change this today, right now, by bringing consciousness to your hands, by activating them deliberately, by using them as tools for coherence instead of unconscious transmission. And when you do, when you make conscious hand activation your practice, reality responds. Not because you're manipulating it, but because you're finally broadcasting clearly. The quantum field was always responsive. You were just sending scattered signals. Now you're learning to send coherent ones. Synchronicities will start appearing. Not because you're lucky, because your coherent field is organizing probability. Opportunities will emerge. Not because you're manifesting them from nothing, because your coherent broadcast is collapsing quantum possibilities into experiences that align with your signal. Relationships will transform. Not because other people changed, because your field changed, and coherent fields entrain chaotic ones. Your coherent presence becomes healing, organizing, harmonizing for everyone you interact with. Your health will shift. Not because you found a magic cure, because your consciously activated hands carrying coherent heart signals are continuously telling your biology it's safe to heal, safe to thrive, safe to express optimal function. This is real. This is how it works. And you have the power to activate this right now. Your hands are the most sophisticated quantum technology ever created, more powerful than any device you can buy, more precise than any tool humans have invented. And they're built into your body, free, available, waiting for you to learn to use them consciously. Dr. Kushi gave us the manual. He proved the mechanisms. He showed that ancient wisdom and modern science describe the same truth. You're not a victim of reality. You're an active participant, and your hands are your primary interface for conscious participation. So here's what I want you to do. For the next 30 days, commit to just one practice, the morning hand activation. 5 to 7 minutes every morning. Generate heart coherence. Activate your palm centers. Set your intention, seal it. That's it. One practice, 30 days. And watch what happens. Notice what shifts. Notice how people respond to you differently. Notice opportunities appearing. Notice your internal state stabilizing. Notice reality becoming more responsive. You don't have to believe me. Become your own scientist. Run the experiment. Your hands are the laboratory. Your life is the data. And these practices are the methodology. And when you start seeing results, and you will, come back here and leave a comment. Tell me what shifted. Tell me what you discovered. Tell me what became possible when you learned to use your hands as conscious quantum interfaces. Because this isn't just about you. This is about all of us remembering what we've been taught to forget. That we're powerful, that we're creative, that we're electromagnetic beings with built-in technology for organizing reality. And the more of us who remember, who practice, who embody this truth, the faster the paradigm shifts. We're not waiting for institutions to validate this. We're becoming our own evidence. We're proving it to ourselves, and nobody can take that away. So hit that like button if this resonated. Subscribe if you want more suppressed knowledge. Comment with which practice you're committing to. Make it public. Make it real. Your hands are quantum interfaces. Dr. Kushi proved it. Ancient traditions knew it, and now you know it too. The only question is, what are you going to broadcast? The quantum field is waiting. Your coherent hands are ready, and the reality you desire is one conscious practice away. Let's do this. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay conscious of your hands. Stay coherent in your heart, and remember, you're not broken. You've just been unconscious of your own power. Now you're waking up. Now you're activating. Now you're becoming the conscious creator you were designed to be. Welcome home.